In the Auditor General's report, she said, quote, "We found situations where agency employees were involved in the ArriveCAN project, were invited by vendors to dinners and other activities," end quote. Mr. McDonald, were you invited to dinners, meals, or other activities by any ArriveCAN vendors? Yes or no, please?
If I was invited to any dinners or activities with vendors, I disclosed it to my supervisor.
Question, sir. The question was, and I'll repeat it for you, were you invited?
I'm telling you the truth. I had been invited, but...
Okay, that's a yes. Mr. Otano, were you invited to dinners, meals, or other activities by ArriveCAN vendors?
At the time during ArriveCAN, no. And if any...
Were you at any time, before or after the ArriveCAN project, at an event, meal, or activity with any of the vendors who were contracted by the Government of Canada to work on the ArriveCAN project?
So, Mr. Chair, thanks for the question. The short answer is I was at one dinner, and that was disclosed to my boss, and which had been done at the time. In fact, my boss was present. So any activities or suggestions of gifts or hospitalities were openly and transparently disclosed.
You waved a bag around when you were making your opening statement. Did you bring bottles for any whiskey tastings that you were a part of?
There are no bottles of whiskey tasting.
Did you participate in any whiskey tastings that were sponsored or paid for by vendors who were paid by the Government of Canada for the ArriveCAN scandal?
Mr. Chair, this is a perfect example where things are taken out of context. And if I could, I'd like to address the minister.
A series of questions. If you can answer the questions, I'm sure you'll have a time to get to those particular details. Did you accept free alcohol from vendors who worked on ArriveCAN? Yes or no?
In the plural, no. There was one Zoom call event.
Thank you. Mr. McDonald, same question.
I had a package arrive at my house.
What was in the package?
There were little vials of whiskey.
Vials of whiskey.
Yes.
Okay.
These were after contracts were in
these
place.
Would be the size that you'd get at a hotel or on an airplane?
Smaller.
Okay. And how many bottles?
4 or 5.
Like the bag. These were disclosed. What was the name of the professional standards office that you referenced, Mr. Utano?
That was the Values and Ethics Office of the CPSA.
Did you disclose to the Values and Ethics Office your participation in and consumption of these products that were provided to you by a vendor who had been paid $20 million for work on this project?
So the disclosure happened to our VP on multiple occasions, as per the policy.
So why did the bag get disclosed but not the free drinks?
The bags were asked in advance, and we were asked if it was acceptable, and we took the steps and procedures ahead of time because we were aware of it ahead of time. The allegations and the development of this report insinuates that we didn't follow procedures.
Did you eat meals, snacks, or consume beverages at any time that were paid for by these vendors? And if so, which vendors?
You're asking me? Yeah. So we did consume a shared platter. I had a few nachos and a couple of chicken wings and half a beer.
You know the date?
I don't have the date exactly in my mind.
Can you undertake to provide the date to the committee?
It was it would have been after we were allowed to.
Sir, I'll let you check your records and sure. and nail that down. Provide it to the committee along with the names of anyone else who was in attendance. Mr. McDonald, same question to you, please.
I think I had 3 zucchini sticks.
Same
and
event?
half of a beer. Same event.
Only time that you shared a meal that was paid for by these vendors?
That was paid for by vendors. I just want to make sure the committee is aware, number one, in the preliminary statement of falsehoods, there are allegations that there were dinners. Those dinners were not necessarily vendor-oriented dinners or paid for by the dinners. And so that's why I'm answering the question. Honestly, I paid for my own meals.
Yeah, I haven't asked a question about that. But you did attend dinners with them, is what you're saying.
I have attended dinners with different vendors over the last 3 years that were disclosed per the policy to my supervisor.
Okay. It's interesting to me that the bag was disclosed to a professional standards office, but the free drinks and food were not. Mr. McDonald, are you being investigated by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police?
I don't believe that I am. I
Have you
haven't been
have you
contacted
you
by
haven't
the
been
RCMP, and I think even the statement of facts shows that the
Same question to
CBSA
Mr.
says
O'Tonnell,
themselves
please.
that I didn't do anything.
Mr. O'Tonnell.
Same. I have not been contacted. I'm not aware of any being under any investigation.
So the Auditor General says the RCMP is investigating certain individuals pertaining to ethics and conflicts of interest. The Auditor General said so herself. Do you have any idea who is being investigated?
I'm not aware of who's being
Mr.
investigated.
McDonald, same question.
I'm not aware of anybody that's being investigated.
So there's millions of dollars being passed around. A vendor was allowed to write their own contract for CBSA. It doesn't make sense that some whiskey or meals or zucchini sticks would be sufficient in terms of influence. Do you know of any other individuals who work for the Government of Canada who received any material benefit from vendors that you can share with us today?
I'll start. Maybe I'm not aware of any. Certainly, when I was at the CBSA, as I testified last time, I did not see any wrongdoing.
Same question, Mr. O'Tonnell.
Exactly the same. I'm not aware of anybody who's received any sort of gifts or hospitality that are influenced them or influenced their actions.
Thanks, Barrett.